Hey everyone, I don't know if you can see me right about now, but hopefully now you can. And I'd like to talk about a franchise that I talked about recently. That franchise I talked about its new, one of its book series that's aimed for older readers. And that franchise, if you can probably see it from here, is the Berenstain Bears. And these are some of the books, like I mentioned, from that series. It's called the Big Chapter Book Series. And as I mentioned, these stories were aimed more at the older readers, like 4th grade, 5th grade, and up, even up into college. Excuse me. Now, the reason I want to talk about this franchise again is because, you know, a couple of years ago, I don't know if it was 4 or 5 years ago, I can't really remember, but, or even 3 years ago, I can't really remember, but Universal Pictures released an all-new animated adventure called, based on the classic children's book series, Curious George. Now, we all know that Curious George went from being an animated movie to being an animated series, revamped animated series, if you will, on PBS. Excuse me. I just got out of the shower. Or the tub, or whatever you want to call it. Now, you're probably wondering, what does that have to do with the Berenstain Bears? Well, we've seen a lot of children's books and a lot of children franchises, if not family franchises, they all fall in the same category, being made into that feature film. Curious George got it, because he went straight from book to kind of like still animation to now that Universal picture that they had a couple years ago, which now evolved into the series. Excuse me. And then we had Clifford. We all remember that Clifford book series became an animated series and then became a direct-to-video movie that, well, not a direct-to-video movie, but a movie that was shown in selected theaters, but mostly, you know, dragged to basically direct-to-video. Now, you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with the Berenstain Bears? Or do you have to ask? You see, even though I'm 30 years old, I'm still a fan of the Berenstain Bears. I mean, I've been reading these books recently every night. And truth be told, if there's one children's franchise, one family franchise that needs to get that motion picture treatment, it's this franchise, the Berenstain Bears. I mean, believe it or not, it's long overdue. Excuse me. It's long overdue. I mean, the characters came out in 1962. Now, believe it or not, I think it's 1962, 92, I can't remember, but believe it or not, we are basically 3.5 to 2.5 years away from the anniversary. And it's hard to believe, right? So the question is, what do they have planned? Well, I think the thing they should have planned is to make a feature-length animated feature on the Berenstain Bears. No joke, no job. It's got to be done, eventually. I mean, we have had 2 animated series, one in the mid-'80s on CBS, and one recently in 2003-2005. Now, all that's left, after conquering that, after conquering every single kind of age group in a book series that you could think of, after conquering being the #1 best-selling children and family book series of all time, they need to finally take that final step and hit the motion picture big screen. That's what they need to do. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, well, what kind of story would it be? Well, I have my own ideas. You see, if I was writing or coming up with the idea to do a Berenstain Bears movie, I would include every character from the recent series, from not just the 85 series, and not just from the 2003 series, but I'm talking every character basically that from 2003 and 85 is being mixed in to these books, into the Big Chapter books, into the first time books. That's what I would do. I mean, take a look at who the main characters are in the big chapter book series that they talk about. I mean, on the back, they basically say, under the collect them all thing, they say, join brother, sister, Too Tall, and Queenie, and the rest of the Berenstain Bears country cubs. We hear those four main names, brother, sister, Too Tall, Queenie? Those are the four main characters that need to be evolved. But there are other characters. Characters like Bonnie Brown. Who wouldn't want to see her, if you've read this series, the big chapter book series, animated and brought to life? Who would not want to see that? Now I know you're also thinking, well, what kind of story would it be? Well, the cubs come of age, right? The cubs, you know, they grow up. The series that they have teaches us about how to grow up and be who we are. You know, and teaches us lessons and everything. What better way to do an animated motion picture than to have the cubs aged a little bit? I mean, you're going to take that next step. You're celebrating the 50th anniversary. Why not age the cubs like brother, sister, and their friends by a year or two, or maybe a few? Maybe start developing the romance that gets talked about sometimes in these book series. I mean, quite honestly, I would love to see Brother and Bonnie's friendship turn into a relationship on the big screen. And if not Bonnie, I'd go as far as to say, have Queen McBear be Brother's girlfriend. I know that sounds a little weird since she's associated with Too Tall, but come on, who would be a better match? Who would be? All I'm saying, basically, is that this franchise, this family children franchise, needs to take that final step in time for the 50th anniversary and hit the motion picture big screen. Because I guarantee you this, even if it's in selected theaters, even if it's a direct-to-DVD video and television, this movie, if it was to be made, would sell out like no other. Because there are long-time Berenstain Bears fans like myself, and even older, that have been waiting for something like that to happen. And that's all I have to say about it. If you agree with me, please leave comments on my page. You got a video response to it, leave a video response. Because I know I'm not the only one here on the YT that agrees with this. And that's all I have to say, and all we could do as fans of the Berenstain Bears, if you're out there, is pray and hope that in time for the 50th anniversary, there is a motion picture made. That's all I have to say. I'm Brian saying God bless. Take care.